Hi, this is Josh Marshall from TPM Media. It's Tuesday, October 23rd, 2007. You know, there's a lot of months and days throughout the course of the year to raise awareness about important subjects. There's National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, there's Mental Health Awareness Month, there's other things like Black History Month and so forth. Well, you may not know it, but today is the second day of Islamo-fascism Awareness Week. Now, IFA Week is a brainchild of David Horowitz, and if you're not familiar with Horowitz, he argues that his extreme credulity about various left-wing frauds and charlatans during the 1960s makes him a canny and very credible critic of the left and liberals today. If you're interested in finding out more about Horowitz's fabled break from the American left, you can read all about it in his highly publicized memoir, Radical Sun. 18 years ago, Horowitz founded the Center for the Study of Popular Culture, which he used as a vehicle to raise tons of money from right-wing foundations to give himself a platform to have conniptions and pick fights, usually with the silliest possible people he could find. Just last year, in 2006, perhaps to get in line with President Bush's freedom agenda, Horowitz had the center renamed the David Horowitz Freedom Center. Now, this week is the first annual Islamo-fascism Awareness Week, but if you've heard the word before, actually there was a Islamo-fascism Awareness Day earlier this year in April. But after that, Horowitz discovered that it was a pretty good fundraising tool, so they decided to have a whole week devoted to it this fall. Now, even with all this preparation, there's still been a few bumps in the road. Just last month, it came out that one of the posters that Horowitz has distributed to demonstrate the horrors of radical Islam, which showed a woman being buried alive and stoned for various sexual transgressions, actually was not a real event. It was taken from a movie that was made in Holland a few years ago, and we found out that the actress appears still to be alive, notwithstanding the stoning incident. Things got even rougher 2 weeks ago when students at George Washington University found out about Islamo-fascism Awareness Week and decided to lampoon Horowitz, being such a buffoon as he is, with this phony poster that they put up around campus. Now, as you can see, the title says, "Hate Muslims? So do we. Your typical Muslim has lasers in his eyes, venom from his mouth, suicide vest, peg leg for smuggling children, and heroin." Well, anyway, apparently Horowitz doesn't quite get the concept of being satirized, probably because it happens frequently. Anyway, here is Horowitz lashing out about the hate mongers that made this satirical poster just a couple nights ago on Hannity and Combs. Take a look.
You understand that they did an over-the-top parody, David, in order to...
No.
Let me just get my statement. I'll give you a full chance to respond. In order to satirize the idea of having Islamo-fascism Awareness Week, that it was called parody and satire.
No. What this is part of a national hate campaign against conservative students and against the Islamo-fascism Awareness Week. Exactly. This is the left. The left is a hate group. And what they tried to do is what they did with this fake poster is to try to put on conservatives a hate message. The left cannot stand to have a discussion on a college campus.
We're having a discussion
What they're doing
right
is they formed a lynch party, tar and feather, pin the racist label on them. I can't go to a campus and just speak. I can't have a civilized discussion. I have to have bodyguards. I have to have campus security.
Now, as it happens, I've actually had a few run-ins with David Horowitz over the last decade or so, and as you can see from that clip, Horowitz's main MO is finding basically the most ridiculous or silly opponents that he can, getting into a screaming match with them, and then using it to complain very loudly about all the terrible attacks on David Horowitz, and also raise a lot more money from right-wing foundations to found more centers and awareness weeks and anything else he can do to get back on television. Now, all that being said, this week is Islamo-fascism Awareness Week, and if you go to Horowitz's site, you can find actually a student's guide to hosting Islamo-fascism Awareness Weeks, and it goes through the things you can get. You can various speakers that you can get to come to your campus. Mark Stein, well-known British expat lunatic who discusses Islamic affairs. Horowitz, who's going to be at a number of universities. Daniel Pipes, who we discussed last week, a major advisor to Rudy Giuliani. And in fact, who you can also find is Rick Santorum. You know, a year ago, he was a big United States senator, a big man about town in Washington. But now, if you give him a call, you can probably get him to come down to your campus and talk about Islamo-fascism. There are also pamphlets that you can give out. The Islamic Mein Kampf is a popular one. Jimmy Carter's War Against the Jews, and What Every American Needs to Know About Jihad, which flies off the tables. Now, just to be fair, we want to read from you what Horowitz himself says is the true meaning of Islamo-fascism Awareness Week. So let me just read here. The goal of the week will be to refute the curriculum of the left, which teaches that America is the enemy in the war on terror, and the terrorists are freedom fighters, whom progressives should support. You know, I hear that all the time. It's the weirdest thing. Here's more. The purpose of this protest is as simple as it is crucial: to confront the two big lies of the political left, that George Bush created the war on terror, and that global warming is a greater danger to Americans than the terrorist threat. Nothing could be more politically incorrect than to point this out. But nothing could be more important for American students to hear. In the face of the greatest danger Americans have ever confronted, the academic left has mobilized to create sympathy for the enemy and to fight anyone who rallies Americans to defend themselves. According to the academic left, anyone who links Islamic radicalism to the war on terror is an Islamophobe. According to the academic left, the Islamo-fascists hate us not because we are free and tolerant, but because we are oppressors. So, the week is going on right now. It's time to celebrate, to honor it, to raise awareness about Islamo-fascism. And you can do that right now by going to www.terrorismawareness.org. You can pick up the student guide, which has the intellectual tools, as Horowitz calls them, to raise awareness about Islamo-fascism. Now, we're going to put our own email up here on the screen, and we want you to write us, because we want to be participatory, get you involved not only in TPMtv but also the Awareness Week. So write us, tell us what you are going to do on your campus to raise awareness and to honor Islamo-fascism Awareness Week. Even if you're not on campus, even if you're old, ancient like me, or someone even older than that, you can still participate in your own life, in your family, whatever. Write us, tell us what you're going to do. You can even take a picture, share it with the world. I'm Josh Marshall, TPM Media, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.